Hello, and welcome to City View. I'm your host, Leisha Utsi. In our top story, we give you a close-up view of the newly renovated City Council chambers located in City Hall. This major renovation project has been completed, and Columbia City Council recently held a special ribbon-cutting ceremony to mark the occasion. According to recent reports, the state of South Carolina is #1 in the nation for the number of incidents that result in a woman being killed as a result of domestic violence. During the month of October, city leaders spearheaded an effort to host the 7th annual Mayor's Walk Against Domestic Violence. Over 1,200 participants participated in this walk and discussed how we could work together as a community to stop this epidemic in our state.
This is an event that brings the whole community together to talk about domestic violence and take a stand against it. Unfortunately, in the past, people have always thought this is a family issue, but it is a community issue, and we want people to come out and recognize that it is a community issue, and we all can do our part by just educating ourselves about why domestic violence happens and what the dynamics are and how we as a community can respond to victims or perpetrators of domestic violence.
As you can see today, the City of Columbia has a lot of people that really support the fact that we need to do something about criminal domestic violence. Just last night when I was looking at the calls for service, the people that called 911 in reference to being victims of criminal domestic violence, we had over 17 calls in a 12-hour period. And that's very alarming, especially as the interim police chief of Columbia. We want to know what we're doing to prevent these crimes from happening. And the biggest tool that we have is not the stuff that's on our belts as police officers, but it's about education and awareness. And that's what today's function is all about, is education and awareness.
As you may know, there's a lot of interface between this and the issue of domestic violence, because more than half of the fatalities at the hands of domestic violence are committed with guns. A lot of domestic violence is committed with guns. So we're working together to make our community safer for everyone.
This is our daughter. She was killed by her boyfriend 4 years ago. Her name is Azelle. That's her oldest child, and that's her youngest child who turned away. This is her son-in-law, and this is her mother, my wife. We just felt there was a need for us to come here and to be in this so that we can try to weave in with the other people who have suffered the same kind of loss that we've lost. And it's been 4 years, and we're still crying.
I do not want them to have to deal with what we've had to deal with the death of my daughter. It is brutal. I want them to know the signs. They need to get out before it's too late. And we intend to bring awareness to domestic violence as long as we live.
It's an opportunity for people from all walks of life to come together and just say that we're not going to take it anymore. Make sure that those who are going through this incredibly difficult situation, those who've survived the situation, and we also, of course, mourn those that we've lost because of domestic violence. It's for us to come together and say that you are our mother, you are our sister, you are our daughter, you are our wives, and we need to treat you with the love and dignity and respect that comes along with that.
City Councilwoman Tamika Isaac Devine, who chairs the city's Domestic Violence Task Force, also convened a group of domestic violence advocates for the 2013 Domestic Violence Advocates Exchange. This exchange brought together elected officials, community leaders, and advocates on a statewide basis.
And I know you know it, but it can't be said enough. What you do empowers people.
This is our 2nd annual Domestic Violence Advocates Exchange, and this came out of an idea of just recognizing that we've got men and women who work in the field that advocate for victims of domestic violence all the time. Those are the ones that go to the hospital in the middle of the night, sit with victims in court, sit with victims and they're in the police department, go to family court with them. And you know, a lot of times there's a lot on them as victim advocates, but we don't always recognize them and appreciate the work that they do to help the system work. And so we kind of came up with this idea on the heels of the Domestic Violence Walk and saying, you know, let's celebrate the advocates, the people who work in this field every day.
We are seen at Sister Care, sororities and fraternities, faith-based groups, school children in public sector, private sector, different groups are being affected by domestic violence. That's the point. It's not a women's issue. It's not just a man's issue. It's not just a family issue. It's a community issue. It affects businesses, schools, health, faith community. And since it seems to be affecting so many people and people are hearing more about it, particularly domestic homicides, they're saying, I need to be responsible, I want to do something. And there's a full range and array of things that groups and individuals can try to do.
As you look at me, you can't tell, there's not a certain face for people that can be victims of domestic violence.
It's good that we want to bring awareness, but in the middle of the night when you have that call with the family in crisis, families need someplace to go. In order for that to happen, we have to have a place where we're supporting. And there's shelters throughout South Carolina that can use additional financial support from our organization and our churches. So I really want to try to advocate for us not only advocating verbally, but opening up our pocketbooks and our checkbooks to this cause and helping a nearby shelter.
We need to get involved in a real serious kind of way at the grassroots level, providing support. Anytime I can come and celebrate people who are involved in this work, I welcome that kind of opportunity. And it was just a chance for me to say thank you to the men and women who are involved in the City of Columbia's domestic violence services and who volunteer in a lot of cases, but most importantly, who are there in a supportive role for men and women who are victims, survivors of domestic violence.
The City of Columbia will hold 2 public information sessions in November and December for property owners who have or are considering the purchase of flood insurance through the National Flood Insurance Program. These meetings will be held on Thursday, November 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Eau Claire Print Building located at 3907 Ensor Avenue, and on Wednesday, November 4th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Lurie Center, formerly the Capital Senior Center, located at 1650 Park Circle. The City of Columbia's floodplain manager will be on hand to inform the public about the following: recent changes to the federal laws governing the National Flood Insurance Program, how property owners can learn more about flood insurance premiums through the National Flood Insurance Program, and how property owners may be able to save on their National Flood Insurance Program premiums by getting an elevation certification. If you would like to attend one of these sessions, or if you would like more information, please call the City of Columbia's Department of Utilities and Engineering at 545-3400. The City of Columbia would like to extend a very special thank you to Congressman James E. Clyburn for a recent donation that was made to First Tee of Columbia. Congressman Clyburn recently visited Columbia to donate a $2,500 check to First Tee of Columbia on behalf of the James E. Clyburn Research and Scholarship Foundation. Again, a special thanks to Congressman Clyburn for his continued support of First Tee of Columbia and the Clyburn Golf Center. If you would like information about programs that are offered to youth at the Clyburn Golf Center, please contact Parks and Recreation at 545-3100. We also have more great news to share. Thank you, Columbia, for your support of the Let's Move Columbia initiative. Councilwoman Tamika Isaac Devine recently announced during a recent City Council meeting that Columbia, South Carolina is ranked #1 in the nation for Let's Move cities. Let's Move is a nationwide initiative that is focused on decreasing childhood obesity and increasing wellness for families across our nation. Columbia is officially designated as a Let's Move city and has been involved in implementing programs to increase wellness activities for youth across our city. According to our staff at the Columbia Animal Shelter, Columbians have really stepped up with pet adoptions. Thank you for supporting our weekly Pet of the Week program by adopting pets, and also the recent Superhero Pets Month, where we held a special promotion through our animal shelter. All of the pets that month were adopted except for one, and we have lots of animals that still need good homes. If you would like to adopt a pet, please contact the Columbia Animal Shelter at 776-7387. That wraps up this edition of City View. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching City TV for all the latest news and information about the City of Columbia. If you have questions about any of the information that we've covered in this program, please contact the Public Relations, Marketing, and Media Department at 803-545-3020 or visit our brand new website at www.columbiasc.net.